So let's try two more of these. Let's try factoring these two problems again. That leading coefficient, the more you practice on this, the better you're going to get. So you're looking at the last term first. You think about it, we want to think about the factors of negative 18. Because this is negative, we know we're going to have one positive and one negative. So I would just write out the factors of a positive 18, but remember, you're going to have one of each sign. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. You also need to write out the factors of 2x squared. We know it would be x and x, and we would have 1 times 2. We can't pull a 2 out if you're looking at the 2 and the 18 because of this 9 term, so there's not going to be a GCF here. I would fill in the first slot first. Since you know it has to be a 1x and a 2x, just put that 2x and 1x in there. And then let's just figure out what combination will work, and we'll again have to check the inside and outside term when we're done. So we know we're going to take 2 times one of these numbers and then 1 times the other number. Take a look and think of how you can get 9. If I do 2 times 18 and then I have 1 times 1, will that get me 9? No. 2 times 1 and 1 times 18? 2 and 18? No. What about 2 times 9? That would give me 18. And then 2 times 1, 18 and 2, is there any way that could become a 9? No. Flip-flop it. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 9 is 9. 9 and 4. Are there any ways you can get a 9? No. So we're down to 3 and 6. Hopefully we find one that works. If we do 2 times 3, we would have 6. 6 times 1, 6. 6 plus 6 gives me 9? No. 2 times 6, 12. 1 times 3, 3. If we do 2 times 6 and 1 times 3, we can get a 9. How are we going to get this 9? Keep in mind, one of these numbers has to be negative. This would give me a 12. This would give me a 3. What way would get a positive 9? If this 3 is negative. So this is going to be a negative 3. And we took the negative 3 times the 1. So 2 and 6 need to be multiplied. Notice how I'm circling those two? Negative 3 and 1 need to be multiplied. Now look down in your binomials. You need to decide where to place that 6. Where would the 6 go so that it gets multiplied by the 2? And it is a positive 6. Well, 2 is the outside, so it would go over here. Where would the negative 3 go so that it would get multiplied by the 1? Here's my 1. The inside would be the minus 3. There's your factorization. Let's check it. Inside term would give me negative 3x. Outside term would give me 12x. When we add this together, we would get a 9x. First term, 2x times x is 2x squared. And then last term, negative 18. So we're good. Let's try this next one. First step, guys, always look for a GCF, especially on these problems because it's going to make it a lot easier if you have one. We do have a GCF. We can pull out a negative 2. Remember, you want that leading coefficient to be positive if possible. When we divide out a negative 2, we're going to have 12x squared minus 29x plus 15. Watch your signs, because if you mess up the signs, definitely make it harder. We're going to have a lot of options here. Now let's take a look at what we know. We're going to need this negative 2 on the outside, and we're hoping to get a binomial times a binomial, okay? So GCF stays there. Take a look at that last term. The last term is positive, so you know they're either both positive or they're both negative. Well, if the middle term is negative, they must both be negative. So because we know the signs match, you can fill them in. If we don't know the signs match, like here they were one of each, don't fill them in until last. Write out the factors of 12, write out the factors of 15. Now keep in mind, these are both actually going to be negative, so we can put those in because we know that they're both negative. Now look for a pattern, okay? We are going to have a lot of options to try here. So look for a pattern, try to figure out how we could get negative 29. You have to multiply one of these numbers, like 4, by one of these numbers, and then the other two together. If that doesn't work, try another pair. You know, you can start with whatever ones you want. I'm going to start at the bottom here. Maybe I want to try 3 times negative 5. 3 times negative 5 would give me negative 15. 4 times negative 3 would give me negative 12. Will that give me a negative 29? No, negative 27. So that didn't work. Flip-flop it now. We did the 3 times negative 5. Do the 3 times negative 3. 3 times negative 3 would give me negative 9. 4 times negative 5 would give me negative 20. Does that give me negative 29? Ah, there it is. So we didn't have to try all of them. We kind of got lucky. Now you have to circle and underline which ones you're pairing with each other. So we wanted to do 3 times what number to get the negative 9? The negative 3. And then 4 times the negative 5. Okay? These two numbers will be your first slots. And they have to have an x squared also. So we're going to have 3x and 4x. These two numbers then will be your last spots, but you need to figure out where they need to go. Remember, the insides get multiplied and the outsides get multiplied. If I want this 3 to get multiplied by the negative 3, where does that negative 3 need to be? Well, here's my 3, so the minus 3, and there's my negative sign, needs to go on the outside. The 4 is on the inside. It's going to get multiplied by the 5 or the minus 5. Let's check our inside and outside term. This would give me negative 20x. This would give me negative 9x. Altogether, that gives me a negative 29x. First term, 3x times 4x is 12x squared. Check that just in case. And then minus 5 and minus 3 is a positive 15. Now, if you're looking at this and thinking, well, that's not what I started with, don't forget you have that negative 2 on the outside. So when you distributed that, you would have a negative 24x squared plus 58x minus 30. Okay? All right, so we are going to practice this for 2 days. I don't want you to get upset. I want you to try and push to try the problems on the quick check. Bring answers in tomorrow. We will practice this tomorrow, and we'll do a second day as well. So you're going to get lots of chances to practice this material. Move on to your quick check, and I'll see you tomorrow.